Hello and welcome to Freedom Through Astrology, where we're giving you the keys. Take two or something like that. It's freedomthroughastrology.com and it's THRU because this is actually all about you. I'm your astrologer, Donald Patak. There's my email, standard YouTube copyright. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about the keys to the reading because I read astrology just a little bit different, and some of what you can hear from me is different from what mainstream tropical astrology reads. I am looking more at how it was read historically in ancient times before tropical astrology was created. First of all, I'm reading what's called sidereal astrology or visible sky. In ancient times, astrologers were astronomers. So they use the visible sky only, and that's what I do. I use the natural size of this sign. There are astrologers who will make each sign the same size, when in reality, like Virgo is between 45 and 48 degrees. Aries can be as under 25. Scorpio is also under 25. The constellations are all different sizes. So I use the natural size of the sign. I use astrological midpoints as opposed to the IAU boundaries. And what that means is when you look at the zodiac belt, here's constellation A, here's constellation B, and you do a little creative geometry, and that tells you where the halfway point is. So I follow that. It was created by Af and Chimenti. I find it to be much more accurate than the IAU boundaries. I use 13 signs instead of 12. Why? There are 13 new moons in a year. Check it out for yourself. So the 13th sign that was removed when they went to a 12-month calendar was a fucus. And a fucus is the wounded healer. The symbol is a man holding a snake. In ancient times, the snake symbolized knowledge. Ghosts, get on my lap, you little, being interrupted by my cat ghost today. Sorry about that. Um, the snake symbolized knowledge. So that was symbol is a man holding a snake by the head and the tail. And what that means is that it's man controlling knowledge and using it to heal himself, and ideal healing others with similar wounds. So that's a fucus. These are the weekly transits and their universal lessons. So I'm reading planet in a sign. I'm not doing the houses because that would take a half of forever. I'm finally getting my voice back after losing it several times this week. But for everybody, they're going to be happening in different houses and different areas of life. But this is these are just big picture for everybody. Finally, I read what is called evolutionary astrology, which says that the astrology is telling you the lessons you came here to learn at this time. So it's transiting to transiting. I'm not looking at transiting to natal. Again, that would be incredibly long. You want that reading, contact me. We'll set it up and book it. But so these are lessons to learn, and there's a high road and a low road, and you have freedom of choice. That's a key principle of evolutionary astrology. There are people who are very fatalistic. This means, and there's a transit coming up this week, which a lot of astrologers are going to be reading as very, very negative, when in reality, it could be negative, and it has a very positive lesson as well. All of them do, actually. So there we go. And this is the transit report for April 8th through 14th. The underlying energy, which is the moon, your emotional energy, starts in Pisces, spends a day in Aries. The large sign for the week, aside from Pisces, is Taurus. So it's finding physical peace and calm, and then stepping into Gemini. The big Everybody's talking about it. The eclipse, which is the sun plus the moon plus the nodes of the moon and Chiron. Some astrologers are also adding in Mercury. I will talk about that just a little bit, but that starts our week on Monday. And please practice safe viewing. Make sure you have ISO rated glasses. Do not use welding glasses unless they're rated 14 or better. Or no, 14 I think is what I read. I'm teaching an eclipse safety thing. They must be rated 14. Do not use the self-darkening ones, because as the sun gets darker, that protection weakens and you will damage your eyes. Okay, off my high horse. But we'll start the week with the eclipse. I'll talk about that. Mars is conjunct Saturn this week. You'll get a lot of doom and gloom astrologers going off on this. Very positive and powerful lesson. Mercury, even though it's retrograde, is the active planet of the week. And retrograde means it's reflecting. So you're reflecting on your learning, reflecting on how you communicate. So here is your overview of the week. As you can see, everything is fairly well spaced out with the exception of the Saturn, Mars, and the Sun, Mercury transit. Everything is actually decently spread out. So you're not going to be overwhelmed this week. Monday will be powerful, but that's just because it's an eclipse. So we start the week with the moon in Pisces. This is from Saturday. Moon is your soul, your emotions, how you feel, etc. It can also be the healing journey. And in Pisces, it's learning to see things from a higher level, a higher perspective. The moon can, Pisces can also be about releasing and letting things go, being alone. Make sure you do take time to like just chill out. It's always a good thing. Pisces can be a very spiritual time. So what do my notes say here? Pull out my tablet and get it closer. Hello, rotate. Thank you. Being open to, and during this time, it's being open to a fresh vision for your life. That's the spiritual influence. Be open to inspiration, opportunities for spiritual growth, and growing can be releasing things that are holding you back. So it's about that. The shadow can be withdrawing from life completely or numbing yourself in an attempt to escape. And this sets you up to miss what's going on around you. It can also be hiding, trying to escape in various ways. Some people talk about drugs and alcohol. It can be binge watching TV, binge playing video games, losing yourself in music, whatever you use to hide from the world. So it can be trying to hide yourself emotionally from the world. And also starting on Sunday, we have the Sun conjunct Chiron. This whole week has been, last week was building towards this eclipse. Sun is the ego, yourself. You came here to have a healthy ego and learn how to have a healthy ego. And so that's your sun, and it's conjunct Chiron, healing. So it's learning to heal your ego, learning to heal yourself so you can have a healthy expression of the ego. In Pisces, it's learning to see things from a higher perspective and gain that understanding and gaining a spiritual perspective even. And like I said, Chiron is about healing and releasing those wounds. So it's time to bring healing to your life, especially on the spiritual level. Be open to the opportunity to heal spiritual wounds and release them from your life. The shadow, the sun can be either highly egotistical, and we all know what that looks like. Also, it can be a dark star, a star that refuses to shine. Think of a black hole. That's another example. And with Chiron there, it's about deep wounding. And it's clinging to the wound and defining yourself by the wound. So the shadow of the sun conjunct Chiron is about embracing the wound and becoming the wound and making the wound part of your identity. And it's possible to become more deeply wounded and looking for ways to escape or numb the pain. Making the wound part of your identity and living it out in your life can lead to isolation and loneliness. Bad. And here we go, Monday, the eclipse, which on Eastern time zone, which is where I am, will be happening about 3:20 in the afternoon-ish. This time is really weird. I don't know, that was this, I don't, oh, okay. Yeah, that was the start of the eclipse. That's why I have it there, yeah. Okay, so the eclipse is the conjunction of the sun, the moon, the node of a moon, either the south, in this case, it's the north node of the moon. We also have Chiron. You'll hear astrologers talking a little bit about Mercury. I will throw that in. But in essence, this is a new moon. So it's the sun, the ego, and the moon, your soul, your emotions, joining together and being together as one. So there's cats on the notes there. So it's the joining of those two together with the north node of the moon. It's helping you to understand and realize your destiny. A key thing here is to know where the north node is on your birth chart and seeing what that lesson is. And then in Pisces, it's about seeing it from a higher level and being able to release what's holding you back. I'll talk about that in a moment. In Chiron being conjunct to all in this, it's about deep healing. It's about healing and releasing. And that the Chiron can help with the healing and the releasing. So you have that ability to see your evolutionary intention from a higher level, understanding it as it applies to your ego, yourself, your sun sign, and then the moon, your moon as well, embracing the healing, letting the wounds go. And what the wounds come from, where do these wounds come from? The south node of the moon. Know where it is in your natal chart, but right here, right now, where the south node is in Virgo, which is about perfectionism and holding yourself to impossible and unrealistic standards and expectations. So ideally, this is reflecting on how you hold yourself down, hold yourself back with unrealistic expectations, healing yourself of those wounds and being able to release them. Adding in Mercury. Mercury is about learning and communication. In retrograde, it's about reflection. So how have you learned about this, and how have you communicated that to yourself and to other people even? And then how are you releasing it? So this is a great deal of opportunity to learn as well. Just put that in there. The shadow. There's the high road, which I just spoke about. The low road. The low road is getting caught up in the south node, and feeling that this is just that this is too much of a challenge, too hard to do, and just being bitter, fussy, negative, and ego gets out of control, being either too much, thinking of itself too highly and getting just out of control, or becoming the dark star and refusing to shine. The moon can become very moody. With Chiron, it helps to create deeper wounds. You want to throw Mercury in there. Mercury can start talking and you get that in. It's retrograde, so the chat will be inside, which shuts you off from being able to learn and communicate what's going on. And in Pisces, the North Node in Pisces is seeking to escape and numb the pain and hide from it any which way you can. So this has the potential to be a very healing and releasing of the wounds, or it can drag you down deeper into them. Oops, I want to pull this down here. Mars conjunct Saturn in Aquarius. You're going to hear tropical astrologers and other astrologers who read kind of fatalistically about how this is terrible. Mars is here to help you learn courage and assertiveness. There's a difference between being assertive and being a jerk. Saturn is self-discipline and maturing. So it's having and doing the work and it's achievement as well. So it's having the courage to do the work in achievement in where? Aquarius, being your authentic self. So this is doing the work and growing in your authentic identity. The shadow of Mars is falling into fear. Saturn can be a sense of impossibility. This is too much, too hard. And Aquarius can therefore, Mars can fall into fear. Like I said, it's fear. And in Aquarius has two shadows. Yeah, two lines. I'll give you two shadows. One is becoming this wildly eccentric person. So it's falling into fear and just going all out crazy and being either which way you're being fake. You're either being wildly eccentric or you're falling into conformity. Either which way, you're not being your authentic self. And yes, I have run into some people who are very colorful and with more ink in their tattoos than I've written by hand, than I do handwriting in a year. But when you get talking with them, you realize that's just them being them. But there are people who are just wildly eccentric and looking for a reaction. That's the shadow of Aquarius. So I don't do needles. I don't like even going to the dentist if I don't, and getting a cavity filled when I know it has to be because those needles. Yuck. But so there's your, ideally you're having the courage to do the work of being your authentic self, or you're falling into fear, feeling that things impossible, and either falling into conformity or deciding just, you know what, throw caution to the wind and just be wildly crazy. On Tuesday, the moon moves into Aries. So the moon, your emotions are up for a challenge and they want to do something. And where is this? And they're up for a challenge to take on a challenge, take on a task. Very good with that Saturn Mars and authentic self. I like that. But your soul's looking for a challenge, time to be bold, expect some competition and potentially some resistance. But if you look at athletes that are these bodybuilders who are very strong, they don't get that way by picking up 2.5 pound weights. They might start with that to learn proper form, but then they go to the 5 pounds and make sure they're doing proper form. And then they go to 7.5, 10, 15, 20, and they just keep building, feel stronger. So that resistance actually builds strength. So it's having the courage to it's having that courage to be bold, facing the competition, learning to stand your ground, but it's accepting the challenge. The shadow of the moon is being very moody or not wanting to express your moods at all. And Aries is fear. The underlying emotion is fear, and it can come across as either anger or cowardice. Anger is acting out and lashing out, and there's just an unjust anger. So I'm talking about the unjust anger here, and just lashing out and flying off the handle, or it's falling into cowardice and fear and not wanting to speak up for yourself at all. Are you okay, Ghost? Our kitten with me today is Ghost. On Thursday, we have the Sun conjunct Mercury retrograde in Pisces. So the Sun, like I said, is the ego. And you came here to learn to have a healthy ego. I will never say destroy your ego. Learn what the healthy and unhealthy expression of your ego is. You came here to learn the healthy expression. Mercury retrograde is reflecting on learning and communication. So how are you communicating? How are you learning to express that ego? And how are you learning about yourself? And in Pisces, it's seeing it from a higher perspective and learning to release what lets you go. So are you learning to release the things that are holding you back and letting you go? Are you learning to see things from a higher perspective and being open to that higher perspective? So ideally take time to reflect on how you speak to yourself and how you learn and how you speak up for yourself. Also look for how you see yourself in the world and how are you presenting yourself to the world as well. You could do that. And also, are you learning from your teachers? And when I say teacher, it's anybody who gives you feedback. I was a school teacher for many years. My students were my best teachers because I could come up with a great idea to explain something, but if they didn't get it, and they believe me, they told me when they didn't, they gave me the feedback that I needed to help me be better. So the shadow of the of this transit, the Sun, again, the ego can be wildly egotistical, or or it can be someone who doesn't want to express themselves and be seen at all. And Mercury, incessant chatter as a defense, either thinking that you know it all or you can't learn, or shutting yourself down from learning. So it's not, it's not even wanting to listen or learn. So it's shutting down the feedback system and not wanting to learn about who you really are and not wanting. And in Pisces, it's about escape, trying to escape and get away and numb yourself. So here we have shadow. Also, it's living in fantasies. That's part of escapism. So my notes here say in the shadow, your own ideas and fantasies can be mistaken for reality. So it can be living a lie and living a false perception of reality. This can lead to self-deception and poor decision-making. You can talk yourself out of ideas and inspiration. So that's the shadow. And this is a quick transit. It's very quick. Mercury moves is like outside of the moon. Mercury is the fastest traveler in the sky. Also on Thursday, you got the moon, your soul, your emotions, entering Taurus. And Taurus is here to find peace and calm. What else do I have for yeah, that's pretty much it. The difference between the peace of Pisces and the peace of Taurus, Pisces is about spiritual peace, meditation, and spiritual practices. Taurus is about physical calming. Chill out, take a break, give your body a bit of a rest, go out in nature type stuff. Okay, it's about physical relaxation. So can you physically calm yourself down so that your emotions get a little bit of a break and calm down that way? So my notes here say your soul is looking to calm down and get centered. Take time to find peace and quiet so you can have an opportunity to get realigned with your life. Uh, and failing this, you can become very stubborn and very think of Taurus as the bull in the china shop. So it can be Taurus can be very lazy, not wanting to do anything, and it can be the bull in the china shop with the moon, emotional bull in a china shop, be a lot of destructive. You can be very stubborn, force yourself to consistently hold on to plans for the past that no longer are serving you in the present. So Taurus can be of this I can't think of a better way of saying, but it's being stuck in the past. I think that's the best way to say it. Being emotionally stuck in the past and sticking to plans that no longer help you and serve you. Now we go to Saturday. The moon enters Gemini. I'm trying to do this and keeping a kitten occupied who wants to jump on top of my keyboard. Not a good thing. And again, the moon is your emotions, and in Gemini, curiosity. So couple of days of calm, Thursday, Friday, and this is Saturday afternoon Eastern time. After I think it's after 3 o'clock or something like that. But this is later on Saturday. You know, emotional curiosity and energy to get up, go out and learn and find something new. And Gemini is curious and wants to communicate as well. So you're seeking more information to help you grow. Good time to be able to ask questions, find answers, listen. Communication and especially listening is an important skill. Also, reading and things like that. Um, excuse me. It's time to ask questions, seek answers, if only if even if the answers clarify what you already know and confirm what you know, and hopefully it helps add on more information. The shadow is being moody and in Gemini, talkative as a defense or not wanting to talk at all and locking down and not sharing, not asking those questions, shutting yourself down. So failing this, you can become talkative or quiet and constantly distracting yourself as a defense against learning anything. So this is shutting down from learning in many ways, shapes, manners, or forms. And Sunday, back to Mercury. I got tons of stuff here. And it's blocking up my screen. There we go. Decaffeinated coffee, warm colored brown water. Okay, that was one of the notifications. On Sunday, Mercury retrograde is conjunct Chiron. So Mercury, learning and communication, so it's reflection on that, and conjunct Chiron in healing. And are you learning to heal yourself? Are you open to accepting the healing? And in Pisces, being able to maybe see the wounds from a higher perspective and a different perspective, gaining a different understanding and knowledge of them so that they can be healed and released. And what do I have here? Reflect on the healing of the past and look at it from different perspectives. What have you learned? And have you learned what your true abilities are as well? Because with Chiron, when you learn to heal yourself, you can help. Chiron rules the fucus, so it's also being able to help others with similar wounds heal. The shadow, we know about the shadow of Mercury, is not wanting to learn or thinking you're a know-it-all and using talking and refusing to listen as a defense. And Chiron, the shadow of Chiron is embracing the wound and becoming the wound. So you could be learning to embrace that wound and being wounded even more and more deeply. So in the shadow, you slip into unconsciousness by choosing not to heal, possible to deepen the existing wounds, and slowing your ability to learn and communicate. You can even wound yourself with what you think. All right, and there we go. So those are the transits for the week. I am changing the way I do readings now because I'm finding and I'm getting the feedback that this work is working so much better. So for my birth chart, all my birth charts, karmic charts, transit charts, etc. When you order the reading, you will receive a recording to watch. and you can watch the recording, watch it several times, make your notes and everything. And this way, when we get together, rather than you trying to squeeze in questions to the reading and whatever, you're knowledgeable and you've got the information about what you want to ask me questions about, and that time becomes your time to seek deeper understanding or seek clarification on the reading. And I'm finding that this is working so much better for people, and the feedback I'm getting from people is that this is incredibly more powerful for them. So you'll order the reading, you'll receive a recording that you can watch and download, please, several times. You schedule the follow-up session, and you guide the Q&A session, and that helps out. If you do like what you got from this reading, follow me on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, the Digital Soul Space, which is a private social media site with many, many different modalities. Astrology is one of many things that's covered on there. There is a free version and a paid version. Paid version gives you the full access to the site. The free version gives you limited access. You're sitting there saying, why would I want to pay for it when these three here are free? You pay for these three with your data. They're making billions and giving you nothing. Digital Soul Space, when people subscribe, that money, 100% of it goes to upkeep the site. Your data is private. The moderators, if they want to email you directly, the hoops that they have to go through to just email you is incredible. So yeah, I am updating the site and getting the site updating. The new offerings are here. They're packages that when you order, you can order individual readings, you order a package. If you order a package deal, there is a built-in discount. Oops, I forgot something. Let me go previous. I want to escape. Go here. If you do go to freedomthroughastrology.com, there's my website. If you click on subscribe, you can subscribe to my weekly newsletter where you get a summary of the major events, astrological insight, exclusive subscriber only discounts and offers, and then information on any live and appearance and events that I do. Here. You like what you hear? This is going to change, but this is where you would schedule your appointments. And I do have all my different readings, and I do have the consults, and there's the packages. Quick pictures, just whoa, I gotta fix that. Oh, that's right. That's the birthing karmic chart in one. Big picture, this is the birth chart, the karmic chart, the yearly reading, and what we call the life cycle reading, which is really good. The 4 seasons adds all that to that 4 quarterly readings, and through the year, we add in 13 monthly readings based off the new moon, and then you get 13 half-hour full moon check-ins for free, plus other little doodads I throw in there for you. So if you like that, great. If you just want to schedule a recording, they're all here. There's that. And then I do a weekly, there's the weekly blog, there's the transits, and then every day I try to post a deeper reading on something. So still have to post today's. It's where my day has been. But there you go. Let me go back to here, slideshow, current slide. So follow me on Facebook, social media, like, follow, share, and in the visible sky, your life changes. So thank you very much. I hope you have watch the eclipse if you can, watch it safely, listen to all the advice, err on the side of caution rather than extravagance. I know people who have damaged their eyes from watching eclipses, so please err on the side of caution. Thank you very much. Have a good week. Oh, come on.